let your children discover tomorrow's technology today. The TRS-80, the biggest name in little computers. Only at Radio Shack, a Tandy company.
Boo! We're getting close to Halloween, and you know what that means. Horror. Now when I say horror, I don't mean that bargain bin Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff. I mean that real, gross, disturbing, keep you up at night stuff. The stuff that deprives you of sleep, contemplating if the extinction of humanity would be beneficial for the world. I'm talking internet horror, baby. Nowadays, horror movies just don't do it for me anymore, and I know a lot of people share the same sentiment. I mean, every now and then a good horror movie comes out. Most of the time, I'm straight-faced. That's where internet horror comes in, to save me from the absolute snooze fest that is Leatherface. Nothing scares me more than some good old internet horror. The ambiguity of it is what mainly draws me in. With movies, even if I do get immersed in the story and the world, I know at the end of the day, it's a movie created by people, teams of people, and it's not real. But with internet horror, that's not always the case. I love the ambiguity of it. Even if I think something is an art project, it's always fun to just think to myself, what if it is real though? You can't really do that with regular movies. There's always some mystery there. You could truly be looking at the creation of a sick, twisted human being. There's no Wikipedia page on the people involved or its development. It's just there. Just popped up one day. I love it more than I can express, but I'm gonna try to in this video. Keep in mind, when I say internet horror, I don't just mean short films or disturbing art projects made by people. I mean just anything sorta disturbing or scary that's located or originated from the internet. This video is gonna take longer to come out because I'm too scared to edit this stuff at night. But welcome to the definitive guide to internet horror. Okay, so before I start talking about the spooky and scary stuff, I want to lay out how things are going to be formatted. I'm going to talk about these things in different categories. First off is goofy. Now this is reserved for the less scary stuff, more so dumb creepypastas or surreal film projects, like possibly in Michigan, which have a layer of comedy alongside the horror. Now that's not to say goofy stuff can't be scary, because it certainly can. We'll see this later on, trust me. Next up is eerie. Eerie isn't necessarily intentional horror. It can be a video that wasn't intended to be scary, but just have something off about it. Maybe it's the last video somebody made before their passing, or a surreal short film. But the next category is disturbing. Now this stuff is intentionally trying to hurt you, and it does that with flying colors. This is the stuff you'd watch on late nights with friends because you were feeling extra brave that night. It can be art projects with weird, unsettling undertones, footage of disturbing events, or horribly unsettling YouTube accounts with an unsolved mystery surrounding it. But none of this holds a candle to not safe for life. Now this is the category with the most gravity. Most of this stuff I saw against my will or out of dumb curiosity. This includes real life footage of disturbing events, tasteless pieces of horror media with disturbing imagery or malicious undertones. This stuff should have never been crafted by human hands and should not be consumed by any sane human being on this earth. I'll be combining these categories occasionally, so something might be categorized as goofy/eerie or disturbing/eerie. Now that we have these categories laid out, I want to start with the more lighthearted, goofy things first. The Centrifuge Brain Project, an absolutely insane, dreamlike short film about these crazy amusement park rides. This film reminds me a lot of the liminal space craze that the internet went through for a little while. The rides here are so dreamlike, it makes me genuinely uneasy just looking at them. And I like how they really lean into the more technical aspects of these rides and why they were made. They present us with the spectacle and the motive. Plus, I really like how the scientist guy gets increasingly more insane the longer the film goes on. Possibly in Michigan, This one goes under the goofy, eerie category. Such a weird piece of media. This short film genuinely gave me chills the first time I saw it. It's so dreamlike and odd, the way everybody kinda sings everything. And the absurdity of it, especially at the end, really makes this whole thing for me. It feels so modern despite being made in 1983. Feels like something you'd see on the internet in 2011. Agamemnon counterpart. Now this is goofy, disturbing. This video never fails to send shivers down my spine, from the visuals, which make you feel like you're on LSD, to the frantic screaming in the background. I know the screaming was taken from I think an obscure French movie, but it still unnerves me to this day. I just hate the odd, abnormal imagery in this video. It truly scares me. But it can also be seen as funny due to how nonsensical it is. Shay St. John. This channel was full of odd and surreal videos of this guy playing this insane character. Now, this dude is kind of funny, but just something about his videos unnerves the hell out of me. From the eeriness of it, to his odd, frantic movements. I just hate it. It's so creepy to me. And his voice too. Just the way he talks, it kind of gets me like fight or flight mode, you know? But despite that, the videos can be pretty funny sometimes.
I can't stop doing the thing. What is it? God, I heard you doing the hand thing. Shake. My hands are hurting, Shake. What is that?
Pretty creepy, huh? Sadly, the man who made the series and the man who played Shay St. John passed away in 2010. Rest in peace, Eric Fournier. Alan Tutorial. This one was just plain funny to me. It has a really good message on how people can be consumed by YouTube. It's basically a parody of those how-to channels with a pretty dark twist, and it has a surprising amount of lore to it. The storytelling is great, and the comedy is pretty decent. You probably recognize the most iconic clip of this series. I'll show it to you guys right now. If you don't know what it is, you'll probably know what it is when I show you.
Thanks for coming to my Bluetooth page. Today I'm gonna do a new tutorial how to pick up a chair if it falls down. So if you have a blue chair that fell down, and if you have a blue chair that fell down and you want to pick it up,
I will admit though, the series can get a bit repetitive sometimes. Salad Fingers. This one never really unnerved me as a kid. In fact, I was always a huge fan of Salad Fingers and really liked the artistry behind it. I liked the overarching narrative, the insane lore, and the really nice visuals, especially in the later entries. Truly a masterpiece of YouTube. Lasagna Cat. This one is goofy, disturbing. This channel is just a really elaborate way to say that Garfield is just not funny. And to be honest, I respect the immense amount of effort put into this project. This series has a pretty goofy tone up until the last few minutes of the final episode, which is 4 hours by the way. It's basically just John, or occasionally Odie and Garfield, answering the door for these mannequin looking dudes saying mostly nonsensical things, until the end where you get some real, disturbing, surreal imagery. And then the last 2 minutes where for some reason they show us a schoolgirl giving birth in a toilet. I don't know why they put this in the video or what narrative purpose it serves, but I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say that it has some reason to exist within the series, and I'm just missing the point. It's really insane though. What an odd finale for such an odd series. Jack Stauber. Now I wouldn't necessarily say that Jack Stauber is a horror YouTuber, but he certainly makes stuff that can be seen as disturbing to some people. It's the perfect mix of insane visuals and catchy music, and the guy behind it is super talented. You should check him out. Treats for Beasts, a YouTube channel with a series of surreal animations. I want to mainly focus on their most popular video named Beast. It's basically just a critique of humanity, except we're portrayed as these green alien monster dudes. Just take a listen, it's pretty insane, but it sounds good.
I am the beast that grows the wheat. I make bread to eat it with meat. I am the beast that makes the fleece, keeps you warm, keeps out fleas. I am the beast that handles deeds. Yeah. I am the beast that keeps things clean. Give it a shine, give it a sheen. I am the beast that keeps the beat. Shake those hips, let me see. I am the beast that keeps the beast. Get out of line, and you'll get some of these. I am the beast that likes to breach. Don't face your problems, resort to belief. I am the beast that chops down trees. They're put here for us so we can do as we please. I am the beast that sails the seas. I find new lines to claim for the beast. I am the beast that must come beat. It's so much fun to put a thing in a thing. I am the beast that makes degrees. As long as I smile, I can treat them like sheep.
Creepypastas. Now this one is really broad, but I'm just gonna put creepypastas here as a whole. And while there are some creepypastas that are really well made and that I like, they're just really hard to take seriously given the reputation they have. Like, most of them are goofy and not well written at all, probably just written by teenagers who think they're cool. To each their own, I guess. If you think creepypastas belong in the Not Safe for Life section, then just type it in the comments, I guess. Ben Drowned is pretty good though, I like that one. I haven't fully followed it though. Don't hug me, I'm scared. What can I say that hasn't already been said? The series is a masterpiece and I love it wholeheartedly. It has the perfect mix of goofy charm and horror. Each episode has something to say, whether they talk about how time is just a made up concept, or how we each have our own internet personalities outside of our regular selves. I adore the visuals and the music, just everything about it, and I'm glad it got its own show. It totally deserves it. I won't comment on the show though, because I haven't actually finished it. I got close, but I'm still in the last 2 episodes. The Backrooms. I quite like the Backrooms actually. The original concept, of course, but I do like some of the ideas introduced later on, even if some of it is just dumb, like Andrew Tate or Thomas the Death Engine. I love both of the ideas as concepts, but the execution for the new iteration is just not great at all. Roblox horror. Roblox has its fair share of horror games. Of course, given it's Roblox, it's not really that scary, but I find a lot of the games fun to play, even if it's oversaturated nowadays. It's always fun to boot up some games with the homies at 2 AM on a school night. Meat Canyon. We all know who Meat Canyon is. He makes these surreal, sometimes disturbing animations on YouTubers or celebrities or parodies of TV shows. He usually adds a layer of commentary in his animations, and his animations are professional. It's crazy how fast he pumps them out. One of the best horror creators of the 21st century in my opinion. FNAF. We all know FNAF. We've all played FNAF. FNAF is a phenomenon. There's so much surrounding it, so much lore, so many fan games, so many animations, so many music videos. It's been around for not even that long, and it's just completely changed the way that we play horror games. And it's still really popular to this day with a new movie coming out this month. Dad. Dad is dad. Dad does dad things. Dad does weird things. Dad does surreal things. But we love Dad. Dad is great. But Dad is always watching. Last for this section is Happy Tree Friends. I never really liked Happy Tree Friends. I always thought it was some dumb edgy stuff. Even as a kid I didn't like it. It's basically these animations sort of disguised as kids cartoons, but they're really gory and violent. I never really liked it though. It kind of felt like it was just made for shock value, just putting gore everywhere because that's what scares little kids or something. I don't know. Maybe there's more to it than I think, but I'm just not really that into it. That's why I'm putting it here. Okay, next up is the eerie stuff. This contains not necessarily scary things, but it leaves you feeling really uneasy. Obey the Walrus. This video scared the hell out of me as a kid, and it still kinda scares me to this day, but generally, it just makes me sad more than anything. Now the backstory behind this video is that it was created by a Latin American cult, and when you watch this video, it will change you forever. The person in the video dancing was a drag queen, Sandra Crisp, whose stage name was the Goddess Bunny, and they contracted polio soon after their birth. The footage used in the video was taken from a documentary featuring her and adding all sorts of disturbing imagery and audio. Sandra Crisp passed away due to complications with COVID-19, and now a video that used to scare me to death just makes me really depressed. I'm sure Sandra Crisp was an amazing person, and it's sad that her disability was turned into a spectacle. Rest in peace. Also, the original urban legend about the cult actually may have some truth to it, as the original poster of the video had some really odd religious affiliations. Mariana Mordegard Glebsgor. This one is goofy eerie. Just like Obey the Walrus, this one scared the hell out of me as a kid. The legend behind this video is that it was a smaller part of a larger 2-minute video, and then 153 people who watched it gouged their eyes out and mailed them to YouTube headquarters. And YouTube deleted the video, but put up a 20-second version of it to stop people from trying to find the real thing. Of course this is fake and really dumb, but the original video has such an eerie vibe to it. He's just staring at you for 20 seconds straight, a pretty classic YouTube video that still manages to scare kids today, although nowadays it's seen as more of a classic rather than something actually scary. Kelly Stapleton. This one is definitely eerie, disturbing. This is a channel of a mother documenting moments of her life with her and her family. While seemingly harmless at first, this channel becomes much less innocent once you dig deeper. Kelly Stapleton had a daughter with autism, which absolutely devastated her. It's said that she tried to do everything to stomp this autism out, taking her to therapies and such. It's a long story, but it ends up with her trying to kill her and her daughter by filling their car up with gas, after she promised her daughter a camping trip. Luckily, her daughter survived, and Kelly Stapleton is behind bars, but despite the good ending, going back to watch the videos is especially disturbing, as this could have ended much worse. If this case ended any other way, it would be a not safe for life. Also, I think Kelly Stapleton went on Dr. Phil. I never actually heard about this until I did research for this video. Kinda crazy. Hi Walter, I got a new girlfriend today. This video went largely unnoticed up until 5 years after it was released in 2009, and when I first saw this video, I was horrified. This video drew a lot of attention to itself in 2016, and I can see why. The video starts with this dude addressing a random person named Walter, who we don't know, and he's just talking about his day with this one girl that he met. He then shows us this girl who's tied up in the bathroom, and she's screaming for help, as he happily shuffles in the bathroom and closes the door. Just imagine stumbling across this video with no context late at night one day.
Hi, Walter. I was at the mall today, and guess what happened? I met the most wonderful girl. We went shopping at JCPenney's, and she tried on a lot of clothes. And she ended up buying a whole lot of them, you know what I mean? And then we decided to go and take a look at some of the jewelry at K Jewelers, and she picked out this most awesome necklace, the most amazing necklace I've ever seen. And I know she wanted me to buy it for her because she kept on looking at me and kept on giving me that look. You know the look. And then we got kind of tired of the mall, and I brought her back to my place. And I know she hates cameras, Walter, but I'm going to show you her anyways. You ready?
I'd be scared too. What's worse is people connected this video to a real life incident of an actual kidnapped person. It got so bad that police even investigated the video, but in the end, it was all fake, and the people who made the video took it down. It was meant to be comedic, but I don't think the joke landed very well with a lot of people. Chip Chan. This one is super sad. A Korean woman has been live streaming herself for over a decade in a messy apartment with writings all over the walls. And she's never seen actually leaving the house. She claims that a corrupt policeman is spying on her. It just doesn't seem like she's mentally in the right place, and she's still around today. Some of these images are very disturbing. It's an overall sad and creepy scenario. She believes the cop can control her sleeping patterns, and she has webcams set up in her apartment everywhere, so she, as well as other viewers, can see if he breaks into her apartment. Viruses. Man, internet viruses were the most scary things to me for the longest time. I remember staying up late just looking at these viruses and being pretty spooked by them. Now, some viruses can be very malicious, and we've all heard stories about those insane viruses that spy on you without your knowledge. The ones that straight up call you an idiot and play a weird song repeatedly.
You are an idiot. You are an idiot.
Or even screamers. And if I think you were a kid with internet access, you've installed at least one virus in your life. It can be pretty scary if I'm being totally honest, having your whole computer be in jeopardy by this application that's messing with your computer. What's worse is that these viruses can have real world repercussions. If your job required you to have a computer, you would be totally screwed. Or it could get access to certain things like your bank account and passwords, or it can straight up delete all of your files. Even if you're an adult, viruses are still pretty scary. And what's worse is that they're everywhere. Even today I get a little paranoid that I have spyware on my PC. Court K. A really odd YouTube channel with these nonsensical thumbnails and titles. This is one of the weirdest YouTube rabbit holes I've ever seen. So basically, the channel is run by a doctor who talks about various things medical related. But instead of himself narrating, he has these girls who don't seem to have any idea what they're talking about narrate for him. They just seem really out of it the whole time. A lot of people speculated that these girls were on drugs of some kind, and that the owner of the channel was providing them with this in exchange for video narration or something along those lines. What's crazy is these women caught wind of this and actually told people that they weren't on drugs and they were just doing this willingly. But this isn't all. Apparently the doctor killed a dude in self-defense, and he even did an interview on it where he was still wearing bloody clothes. There's also photos of one of the girls with a huge gaping wound on her thigh. I know this section really feels disconnected, but that's how research for this video was. What a rabbit hole. I can't do it any justice in this video. It goes so much deeper. Pretty Woman. What's so creepy about this? It's just a video of a dude who happily sings Pretty Woman. He looks so energetic here. That was pretty nice, right? Well, it turns out that this dude is a registered sex offender. That's pretty much it. We don't even know why he's on the list anyway. But people already found this video creepy before we even knew about that. But that just kind of makes it even more odd. That's about it though, there's not really much to say here. I Feel Fantastic. Now this one is an absolute classic. Ask anyone on YouTube what this video is and you're sure to get an answer. It's just a video of an android singing I Feel Fantastic. Now there was some urban legend going around that this dude who made it was a murderer, and that these androids were wearing the clothes of people he murdered. But nah, it's just a project that the guy made. The real horror comes from the harassment that the dude faced after the video came out, because some people genuinely believed he was a murderer. Like, it was crazy. But overall the video is pretty harmless and I kind of find it cute, even though its description is kind of insane and really undecipherable. Like, it's kind of like a reference to Pygmalion. It's really weird. It's probably the weirdest thing about this video actually. Username 666. This one is certainly eerie, disturbing. When you hear the name, you probably assume it's some dumb, edgy creepypasta made by a 15-year-old. But it's so much more than that. The video came out back when YouTube was still relatively new, and it scared a ton of people. It's so well made in fact, that some people actually believed it was real. And this video is pretty disturbing too, from the demonic imagery to the distorted sounds. It's no wonder why it's still talked about today, and is an internet legend. Dude Man 2. This channel scares the hell out of me. It's just a variety of videos made by some dude who makes stop motion videos with his life-size rat lady. The videos are really eerie with empty liminal spaces. It feels like the setup for some really messed up short film. It really shouldn't be that frightening to me since it's just a dude sharing his hobby online. But I just can't help shake that weird feeling I get when I'm watching it. It's so weird, I always get chills every time I watch it. 112 Dirtbag. This one is eerie, disturbing. It features a man hysterically laughing at his camera for a minute. Now you may be asking, what's so disturbing about it? Well, for a while, it was speculated that this dude was directly connected to the real disappearance of a woman named Maura Murray, whose case still remains unsolved to this day, and this video was uploaded on the same day that she went missing. Now the way that these two things are connected is that this video was called Happy Anniversary, and her father called whoever took her daughter a dirtbag, and 112 is the route that she went missing on, hence the name 112 Dirtbag. With added context, it's pretty damn unnerving, and this disturbed a lot of people back in the day, especially the ones who knew about the case. They went on this dude, they were contacting authorities and everything. But it turns out this guy had nothing to do with the case, and he was just doing it to, in his words, raise awareness to the case. Which, if that's true, that's a pretty garbage way to raise attention to something that you actually want to, you know, help. Lost media. Lost media gives me such a weird feeling. A lot of it is just so eerie. I don't know what it is, but lost media always seems to unnerve me. Maybe it's the fact that I'm looking at something that no one has seen for years. Or maybe it's just the mystery behind it. The fact that something can just be lost to the general public with no way to view it is just really scary to me. This doesn't even include the more disturbing pieces of lost media. People's deaths caught on tape that were destroyed, or illegal videos that no one in the public has access to and probably should never have access to. It's crazy to think that even in this vast world, something can just be forgotten. There's also those weird urban legend lost medias, like the evil farming game, which just turned out to be somebody misremembering a Vine Sauce clip, or that fake anime lost media with those kids murdering each other in a bathroom. I forgot what it was called. What's even weirder is that some of these fake seeming lost medias end up actually being real, like Clockman, which despite being different from how it was described, still exists. I could honestly make a whole video on lost media alone. Old Chris Chan. This one is certainly eerie, disturbing. Now me putting Chris in a video like this may seem a bit questionable, but I think it's more than appropriate. His life is basically a look into what happens to a human being when every aspect of their life goes wrong. And watching his old videos gives me a horrible feeling, because I know what the future holds. We all do. It makes you wonder, did it really have to be this way? All the cruel trolling, the fake girlfriends, the delusion. It makes you wonder, how doomed was he from the start? Could he have ever lived a normal life? Or did the internet condemn him to torture? Little Baby's Ice Cream. This one is eerie, goofy. It's just a dude made of ice cream eating himself, while an odd voice narrates just some weird stuff talking about the pores in his skin or whatever. It's odd.
There's good reason for my glistening skin, and how I shine, and how my pores are so clean and clear. I eat Little Baby's ice cream.
I mean, it's kinda creepy, but it's pretty goofy depending on the way you look at it. I kinda like the ad. Sadly, the company that made the ad went out of business in 2019 for reasons that we don't really know. But the ad has proven to be pretty effective since we still talk about it even after the business shut down almost 3 years ago. 4 years ago actually, I keep forgetting that 2019 wasn't 3 years ago. Time really flies. Rest in peace, Little Baby's ice cream. Basherverse. This one is eerie, disturbing. The Basherverse drama was a whole mess. There was a lot of rumors going around that he was doing not legal stuff with a 10-year-old, which was just false by the way, and the dude was justifiably upset by these claims. He got a lot of hate and the dude was just not mentally well. Rightfully so, he was getting targeted harassment and death threats. I'd be upset too. Keemstar was decently responsible for flinging hate towards Basher's direction, and while Keem apologized for this, it didn't really help things at all. Over the years, he was dealing with depression and an onslaught of death threats directed towards him. His name was tarnished and his life was ruined for a rumor that wasn't even true. He later come back in early 2019 to talk about his life and even created a new channel named Toasty. I was around during 2020 and I felt really bad for the dude. Sadly, he passed away on September 12th, 2021 due to COVID. And now this whole situation somehow became even more unsettling. Not only is this the account of a man having his life ruined over things that weren't even true, it's a representation of a bigger issue on how unjust witch hunts can be on the internet. Some people like Keemstar really don't deserve a platform with the power that they have. Especially since this wasn't the first or last time that he did something like this. In this case is especially sad since it didn't end the way that we wanted it to. We were rooting for him. But life doesn't always have happy endings. Rest in peace, Brandon Asher. Sitting and smiling. A guy just sits and smiles at the camera for sometimes hours on end. Apparently it's some therapy exercise, but imagine just coming across this at 2 AM with no context whatsoever. Plus, there's one video where people literally break into his house and he just sits there. And he also pees himself at one point. Plus, these sessions can be really long, like some of them are up to 5 hours, which is pretty crazy. Slap Happy. This is a video of an old lady doing some weird slap dance. In fact, it's actually multiple videos. It's weird because I can hardly find anything about this video anywhere. Hell, I can't even find the actual video anywhere, where it originated, or who the person in the video even is. Apparently the lady doing this is like a cult leader or something, and this is like a ritual that they do. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I've heard. I know it has something to do with religion or spirituality or something. But this video just gives us an ominous vibe that triggers my fight or flight senses. The empty rooms, her smile, the low quality of the VHS, it's just so eerie. A true anomaly. Petscop. I know people consider Petscop as a creepypasta, but I already mentioned those in the goofy category. Petscop is just so much more extensive. One of the best pieces of media ever put out on the internet, and I think it deserves its own place. I still don't fully understand this masterpiece, despite knowing about it for almost 5 years now. This series follows a man doing a let's play on an unfinished, obscure PS1 game called Petscop. and we watch him just play over the game with his commentary. It's such an odd and unique piece of horror media, and I can't even begin to summarize it in this segment, let alone in this video. It has a super eerie vibe to it at certain parts, and it gets even more disturbing the longer it goes on. The lore is absolutely insane. The mystery is crazy. It's honestly lost on the average person if I'm being honest. I seriously can't do it any justice here. Go watch an in-depth analysis on it after you finish this video. The Dawn is Your Enemy. This was an old Adult Swim bumper that used to play late at night or super early in the morning. It was purposely made to be really creepy as to discourage kids from watching Adult Swim when they weren't supposed to be. But they made it so creepy that it even spooked a lot of adults. You may be thinking this doesn't belong here because it's on Adult Swim, and you know that's on TV, it's not on the internet. But a 2-minute version of it was uploaded on YouTube, and there's a whole creepypasta surrounding the whole thing. This video has had a pretty decent presence on YouTube, and it lives rent-free in the minds of scared children. Old internet. The old internet has a really eerie vibe to it sometimes. Maybe you're just browsing a message board that nobody's posted in since 2006, or looking at a user's account who hasn't been active for over a decade. It can make you really think, where are these people today? Are they doing good in life? Are they even still alive? Plus, that's not even to mention some of the more disturbing things, as the internet was much less regulated back then. A time where people could band together and harass a 10-year-old girl with minimal pushback. Its vibe is just so odd sometimes. It's like looking back in time, to a time that was much, much simpler. Sometimes you ask yourself, was it really better? Gang stalking. Gang stalking channels are people who record themselves believing they are being stalked by someone or a group of people out to get them, constantly thinking any somewhat odd occurrence is related to them. Sometimes a car will drive by and they'll go into a state of panic believing that somebody's spying on them. It's truly disturbing, as most of these cases the people just have mental illnesses, and 99.9% of the time it's all just in their head. The channel usually descends into madness really quickly as the person's mental state quickly deteriorates, and even though you know these people aren't truly in any danger from outside forces, they can still be a danger to themselves and others. Just being in a constant state of paranoia and fear has to be mentally draining. Truly just a sad situation. Okay, so for a bit, I want to talk about 3 analog horror series, since they've gotten pretty popular lately. They're not really my cup of tea, and I don't know much about them, so I got my friend Sect to write the script for this part, although any opinions stated are still ones I have made. Just the summaries are written by him. I wasn't going to put anything here, but I know analog horror is a huge part of internet culture, and I can't not talk about it in a video like this. I'll have Sect's account in the description if you want to go follow him. Local 58, probably the best analog horror series ever crafted by human hands. Local 58 is an analog horror series created by Chris Straub, who also happens to be the creator of Candle Cove. Anyways, the series follows a series of broadcasts from news stations revealing strange videos alluding to aliens, as well as stuff like the moon being alive, as they hijack the station trying to get people to look at the moon. The series doesn't really have a continuous plot, so it's kinda hard to summarize here. It's often credited as what mainly popularized the analog horror medium, and in my opinion, nothing has been able to top it since. The Mandela Catalog. The Mandela Catalog is an analog horror series following a series of tapes and recordings as beings called alternates, strange shapeshifters that persuade you to off yourself, roam the country, consider the threat, unable to deal with. As the series goes on, we see how the alternates seem to have some relation to that world's version of Christianity. It maintains a VHS aesthetic and has a really odd vibe to it. Just like Local 58, this one is decently hard to summarize. I actually really love the story for this series, and I totally understand the hype. It influenced a new wave of analog horror channels to be created, which, whether that's a good thing or not, is up to you. We all know the current controversy going on right now. It's not fun. Okay, so now the rest of the video I wrote myself. Again, go follow Sect, the link is in the description. The Wyoming Incident. The Wyoming Incident is seen as the grandfather of analog horror, and I really like it, even if the other iterations of it are super convoluted. It's the case of a broadcast hijacking where clips of disembodied heads would be shown. It said that people who watched it for extended periods of time experienced vomiting, hallucinations, and headaches. It's a pretty classic piece of horror media, even if it's somewhat forgotten by the newer community. I don't really blame people for not remembering it though, because it's really hard to get into. Like, it's just really confusing sometimes. There's so many new iterations and like new versions, and it's just a mess. It's a mess. Minecraft. When I was a kid, Minecraft used to scare me. Not the mobs or anything like that, but the loneliness. I always felt like someone was watching me. As a kid, I'd always check my single player worlds for traces of other players. If I thought there were other people somehow hiding in my world, I just straight up delete it. And I think the loneliness aspect of it is why Herobrine became such a huge thing among kids. It sounds stupid, but the ambiance can be really eerie, especially in the older versions with the fog. It was scarier than any jump scare or cursed video, but that feeling of loneliness could trump any other fear I had. But also the fear of being watched, leaving me to feel truly helpless. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the disturbing content. This stuff is made to spook you. This is where the video gets sorta intense, so if you're a scaredy cat, I'd recommend clicking off, honestly. Or just don't look at the footage I show you, because some of it can be kind of triggering to some people. First up is Sonic.exe. No, I'm kidding. No more jokes though, this video gets pretty serious, so yeah. Mr. Sleepy People. We're really starting off unnerving with this one. This channel is filled with videos of an unidentified person opening the eyes of sleeping or unconscious women. We don't know who this person is or where they are, but they're putting it online for everyone to see. And it's basically confirmed that these women aren't doing it with their consent either, because as many people noticed, a lot of these women are unconscious with makeup on or contacts. And it'd be really odd to fall asleep like that. Plus, almost every single video, the person is different. There are even instances where the woman starts to wake up and the guy behind the camera starts panicking. We're 99% sure the reason he does this is for some obscure fetish of some sort, because a lot of people in the comment section seem to get off on it. Nobody really knows how he finds these women. Sometimes they'll just be sleeping next to another person, or sometimes they'll be alone. And like I said earlier, the comments really seem to be enjoying this content. I'm also pretty sure there's an exchange going on between these people, where they'll send videos of each other doing similar things through email. It's so gross. I'd stay far away from this rabbit hole if I were you. And unlike some of the ones I've talked about earlier that were real life instances, we still don't know who this person is. They haven't been caught yet. Godly Recon. This one is so weird to me. So apparently, this is a collection of vlogs and personal videos uploaded by a woman during the early days of YouTube. But the thing is, there's literally no proof that these videos ever existed past 2015 when some random horror channel mentioned it in their video. It wasn't even a well-known or good horror channel, it was some random top 10 garbage. So that just makes it even more mysterious. Why would this random low-effort top 10 channel go out of their way to make an entire series just to fool a few people? I tried to look at the archive that was available, but literally none of the videos will play. But the biggest thing to note is her final video is of her camera on the ground in a messy looking room, as she's screaming bloody murder, calling for help at the top of her lungs. Absolutely chilling stuff. It's most likely fake, obviously, but it's just so freaking weird. Like, we don't even know where these videos came from. We don't know who made them. They just popped up one day randomly. It's so odd. In fact, we don't even know who the woman in the video is. Like, usually you can find the actors of these fake things, but we can't even find this woman. Like, no social medias or anything. Captain Coochie's Key Lime Pie. A super odd one right here. It disturbed me quite a bit back in the day. It's basically an account spamming nonsensical word salad in many different places, constantly mentioning key lime pies and adding odd sexual innuendos and politics and such. Now you could just chalk this up to it being a bot or a troll or whatever, but what if I told you this account has been doing it for almost a decade and only stopped in 2016? And in fact, it actually interacts with other people. Many people who tried reaching out to the account were responded to, but the Key Lime Pie poster responded with their IP address. Furthermore, Captain Coochie's Key Lime Pie, the place the user frequently refers to, hasn't even been in business since 2006. So this account from 2009, which has been posting about pies for over 7 years, is talking about a company that hasn't had business since 3 years before they even made their account. Now we can infer that the person who makes these posts is pretty old. Most of their pop culture references come from usually the boomer generation. There's also a really odd theory about the terminology being used to exchange drugs, as Coochie is Jamaican slang for a weed pipe, and Roger Ramjet references secrets being inside pies. Sorry if I butchered Roger Ramjet, I don't know how to pronounce his name. And as one person pointed out, Coochie's restaurant is near an area that has been subject to various conspiracies. Tell me if you think this is some code for a drug trade. Are you still finding it hard to believe that Coochieritaville really exists and that it's not just a figment of your imagination? Or that Donald Trump just became the president-elect? Or does Captain Coochie Pelez and his beautiful wife Anita really bake world-famous key lime pies and their Carrier air conditioners are staying right here in America? Yeah, no, I don't think that's code for a drug trade. It's very unlikely. It's incomprehensible, honestly. Most likely it's someone who's mentally ill and has a huge hyperfixation on this old shut down restaurant for whatever reason. But it's truly just an odd case, honestly. Really weird. Plus they stopped posting after they started getting attention on Reddit, so they are aware of what they're doing. Sad Satan. Okay, this one is disturbing, not safe for life. So this is basically a series of videos on a game uploaded on a channel by the name of Obscure Horror Corner. And their videos are just them, well, playing the game. Some people have interpreted the game as it's simulating what it feels like to be a kid growing up in an abusive household. And occasionally, pictures of, predators pop up on the screen. Now this version of the game that's being shown on the channel, as far as we know, just straight up isn't playable. And we're pretty sure it's fake because this channel has shown interest in making horror games, and this is probably just a game that they made themselves, trying to pass it off as real. Plus they made a fake downloadable link of the game, pretending it was a broken link or something, but it kinda got exposed. The link straight up just never worked, like it was always just a broken link. But there are playable versions of this game, one of which contains illegal material that no human should have access to. In fact, Mudohar played this back in the day, and his reaction says it all.
I know too, that's really fucking weird. Fuck. Alright, now. Alright. That was an image of a person who's lost their fucking head.
Safe to say, people were pretty angry about this, and for good reason too. We're not 100% sure if this version of the game was made by Obscure Horror Corner or not. It may have been made by a troll wanting to frame him, but it's still really, really bad. Whoever made this version has a disturbed mind, and I wouldn't go searching for it if I were you. If you're a sick, twisted individual trying to find this stuff, just remember, this stuff can genuinely hurt your computer. It's not just bad images and stuff. Like this, there is accounts of this hurting people's computers. Like the computer just wouldn't turn on after they downloaded it. Lee Hardcastle. This one is disturbing, goofy. You probably don't recognize the name, but you certainly recognize some of his videos. This stuff traumatized plenty of kids back in the day. That one video where Homer and his family are brutally murdered by intruders. Or Hamster Hell, a claymation showing the very real act of animal abuse that some children may commit, not understanding that these animals are living, breathing beings. This dude has a knack for making disturbing claymations, but he's also made some funny stuff, like an animated Will Smith slap, or a compilation of claymation minions dying. He's a pretty talented animator with a dark mind, and he still makes stuff to this day. He's a pretty genuine guy from what it looks like. Saudi Arabia witch sighting. A pretty unnerving video of these guys in the middle of nowhere in their car being chased by some supposed witch. Now this video is obviously fake, but there's something unsettling about it. The way the witch just trudges around, combined with their blood-curdling screams and attempts to get away. The acting was so good that it had people questioning if it was real. And despite it not being real, the audio alone is enough to send shivers down my spine. Dining room, or there is nothing. This one is disturbing, eerie. It's basically a 1-minute video of some grayish lady sitting at a table saying random words with odd music in the back. Then she just freaking dies. She comes back to life and just says the words, "There is nothing." My interpretation is that it's basically meant to show that after death, there's just emptiness. I really don't know, dude. All I know is that this spooks me. Just look at this and tell me your interpretation in the comments.
Nietam si red
Randy Stare. Back to the truly horrifying stuff. I'm going to talk about Randy Stare. Now, I'm not trying to get demonetized, so I'll try to keep things light here. This is basically the case of a YouTuber with a lot of mental struggles. His way of coping was to basically make some ghost girl show inspired by Danny Phantom. This man was not mentally okay, and this was more proof of that. The show was often rude and violent and crass and vulgar, and he went so far as to say that when he died, he'd be resurrected as a ghost girl. Sadly, on June 7th, 2017, he'd drive to a supermarket he worked at and shoot 4 people, and then later himself. A truly horrific situation. What's even worse is that his descent into madness was all on YouTube for everyone to see, until his final days, where he'd do a horrible thing. Kinda Glizzy Bow TV. No footage for this one, no for real. I'm way too unnerved to give you guys footage for this one. I was thinking of omitting it from the video, but I still wanted to talk about it. This channel is insane. The imagery is disturbingly unsettling, and the jump scares are pretty damn scary. I think it's a Polish channel, so I don't understand much of what they're saying, but I know it creeps me the hell out, so it's on here. It's just some weird alternate reality game disguised as a kids channel, and it has really odd imagery like I said earlier. The videos are purposely really cryptic and undecipherable, but many have tried to interpret the meaning of these videos. Some believe that the series symbolizes nuclear war, while others construe it as an allegory for child abuse. It goes pretty deep. Daddy05. I went really deep down this rabbit hole back in 2019. To make this short, it's basically just a channel of some terrible dad named Mike abusing his kids, specifically 2 named Cody and Emma, who were the kids of Mike's ex. So you know, they took the brunt of the abuse. He'd constantly instigate fights between the kids for views and record himself punishing them, or screaming and cursing at them. It got so bad to the point where Cody scratched his arms until he bled. What's even worse is that the comments are absolutely vile. Most of them were just hating on Cody for being a, quote, spoiled little brat. A lot of these comments were from kids, but some were from grown adults wishing that Mike, the owner of the channel, would beat him. This led to a huge controversy where they tried to cover their tracks by saying the videos were scripted. Look at this clip and tell me if you think this is scripted or not.
Stop!
Hold on. Take him.
Stop!
Take him.
Stop! You can't be attacking him. Stop!
Get him out of here before I kill him.
What?
Get him out of here before he's severely hurt.
Oh, Cody, stop. Stop it.
He better get out now.
Stop.
Do you know how long it's gonna take me to clean that up? Help!
Stop! Hey! Stop! Stop! God! Oh! Stop it! Stop! Stop!
Get off!
Stop! 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 Oh my God! Stop!
Get off of me!
Stop! Stop it!
Give that kid an Oscar because that was the performance of a lifetime. If this was acting, then this kid must be an acting prodigy. After this, their channel basically got terminated, and Cody's mom took custody of both of her kids that were with him. From what I know, they're doing fine now, but I doubt those wounds have healed, especially since this stuff is online forever. And it's been said that Cody got bullied because of the videos and basically had no friends. Daddy05 has attempted to come back multiple times, and he even tried to start a rap career for himself. Which, you tell me if this guy sounds good or not. Maybe he's the next Eminem. I don't know.
I am a husband, I am a father. It is my life, you not insult my honor. People talk shit that I don't even know. I do not make time for silly souls. Oh, your hatred and lies and deception will not determine my path direction. I am the one, I am the selection. Standing up hard like a fucking erection. I am the king and I'm running my kingdom, and none of these haters can match my wisdom. I love that they hate me. Hey, give me that income. Hey, dumbass, keep clicking. Hey, bitch.
Crazily enough, he's still active to this day and even had another kid. Just an absolute mess of a situation that frankly never should have happened. And this channel went on for 3 years. Absolutely hellish. Fake animal rescue channels. Now these channels are just plain evil. There still is, these animal rescue channels that actively put animals in real harm to later record themselves pretending to save them. I've come across these before, although less severe than some of the other ones that other people have seen. Sometimes they'll straight up unalive the animal and make a sad video about it, pretending they failed to save it. It's truly vile. What's worse is that these channels have faced little to no repercussions apart from maybe a YouTube ban. but they still kept all the money they made, and they're probably living a good life right now. The ones that I've seen personally are much less severe, and it mainly consists of trapping an animal in a tight place and then just getting it out. There's no real risk that the animal could get hurt or anything, but it's still really gross. Like, it's just horrible. It's scary how far some people will go just for some money. Ending another creature's life just for some cash. Tim Box. I really wanted to refrain from putting lolcows in this video, but this absolute piece of work couldn't go without mentioning. Tim Box is a relatively obscure lolcow, at least on YouTube, and he has some really odd behaviors that I find really disturbing. He has a big fetish for Asian women and has been seen multiple times recording his Asian classmate without her permission. He also has a crush on a fictional character from the Cartoon Network show Dexter's Lab named Lily, who, for your information, is definitely not of age.
Hi there, Lily, my love. Hi, Lily. What you doing? I love you, Lily. I love you, Lily.
Pretty creepy behavior. He also has a dream of making an 8-hour movie called Dexter's Odyssey. It's basically some crossover movie with a bunch of copyrighted characters he can't use. The main disturbing thing is his delusion along with the Lily stuff. But apart from that, he's just another internet weirdo. I put him here though, since he's kind of representative of a lot of lolcows on the internet. Odd eccentric behavior, not doing good stuff with minors, and just being a creep and weirdo in general. Plus, he won't be the last lolcow in this video, sadly. Elliot Roger Tapes. This one goes under the disturbing, eerie category. This narcissistic, self-obsessed incel killed 7 and injured 14 because he was lonely. He uploaded his entire manifesto on YouTube throughout the years before he did what he did. And looking back, it's truly disturbing. There's so much hate and envy in his voice. He's so self-absorbed that he doesn't even realize why he's so lonely. He truly does not understand why he can't get a girlfriend. He always makes it so clear how rich and handsome he is, and how it makes no sense that he's lonely, not understanding it's so much more than that. He had such a black and white view of the world. It makes you wonder if he would even be happy if he ever got what he wanted anyway. And it's truly disturbing that he took 7 innocent people's lives with him because he was a failure. Loneliness is a real struggle, and I sympathize with anyone who feels upset about how little support they have in their life. But you can control how you handle those emotions, and this man chose the most evil way to do it. Now, this is where things get serious. No jokes, no puns. This stuff will test your mettle. I'll hardly be showing any footage for anything here because I don't want to have the displeasure of ever having to bear witness to any of this stuff ever again. And I would 100% advise you to never look up any of this stuff. You'll truly regret it. This stuff is not safe for life. Starting off disgusting is World Corp. This is a rabbit hole that no one should ever go down ever. This one has so many layers to it that it's actually insane. So, the most popular video associated with World Corp was uploaded to YouTube under the title of Dreamer's Heaven Level 1, Rain's Demise of Reptile. And this video will scar you. It contains footage of a kid in the shower with 2 men shining their flashlights on him as he's in horrible distress. I won't go into what they're doing or saying, but I think you can get what's going on here. This video is only about 2 minutes, but it's truly disturbing. Apparently, this is the cut version of a 30-minute video on a very illegal dark website, and that the full version of the video shows very disturbing content. That isn't all though, there's 2 more videos, both being of a man yelling at children in distress, one being burned in a shower, while the other one where a man screams the Caillou theme song at a child and forces them to repeat it. This is where World Corp comes in. These guys, as far as we know, aren't associated in the making of these videos, but instead found them on the web somewhere and decided to post them to help draw more attention to their music, which it's a shame that they resorted to such a vile way to get their music attention because it's not bad at all. Here's some of what they have to offer.
Hey, whoa, when you buzz this screen, you always gotta go. Keep your mind real clean, keep your pockets on the blow. Gonna roll a check, they rolling out the dough. Everyone I'm with, head down, move so high. fat cap, watch his weight. All I do is call up, now I hold a fast stick. Big stage getting me a house on a lake. All you guys big fakes, don't make no mistakes. This ain't all I do. Fuck all the critters, there's mother one from man. Check these analytics, there's money's got me turning my back on the business. Got a high pH, just super essay. What is pH? Being sad, constantly in chains, where I'm spending all my weekends at. Every day, used to what I happen to be sleeping that. But with so much, man, up and down the east.
Overall, these videos are all clouded in mystery, and I highly doubt this will ever be solved. Plus, these videos are extremely hard to find. Dreamer Heaven is probably the easiest to get your hands on, as periodically it'll be re-uploaded to YouTube, but it usually doesn't stay up for long. Things like these will make you remember the world can be a truly horrible place. Okay, so a little update. I got some really amazing news. Apparently, the backstory of the video is fake. Despite that, it really doesn't make it less disturbing. The video contains the guys who made Rollcorp torturing their little brother, which honestly is still really gross. The kid's screams and cries are real, it's just not as malicious as we thought. Still, no one should watch these videos. Pipergate. Now, I'm probably not going to show footage for any of this stuff because it scares the hell out of me just talking about it. This stuff is absolutely insane. TLDR, some predator dude is posing on YouTube as an 11-year-old girl for some not good stuff. The editing is nonsensical and really gross, and it's pretty disturbing. And he even uses footage from various kids channels to pose as these kids. And the comments are, they're really what you'd expect. I don't know if they know this is an old dude posing as a young girl, or they think this is an actual young girl, but it's disgusting nonetheless. Some people would be asking to get married with the girl, or asking for pictures. It's horrible. Plus, the guy behind the account obviously has a really dubious history, but the guy behind it actually passed away. But despite this, the Pipergate rabbit hole hasn't truly ceased, and it may still be going on even to this day. Many commenters will try to get in touch and exchange certain pieces of media that I can't say on YouTube. So yeah, it's horrible. Jimmy's Wish. Yeah, so even if I wanted to, I couldn't show footage for this one. This one is so convoluted, and there's so much you need to sift through to even have some sort of idea of what's going on. I was honestly lost months ago. It's a he said, she said thing. All I know is that it shows a real child suffering, and that's all I need to put it here. Apparently the dad who was recording this could possibly be a con artist. He claims that the suffering is a result of medical malpractice. Allegedly, the nurses put a plastic bag over the kid's head and deprived him of oxygen. Other perspectives say that this dude is in grief-driven hysteria. I don't know, dude, it's such a mess, but nonetheless, it's disturbing. It's a channel full of videos of a child suffering in a hospital bed and a dad begging for support and justice for his son. This is taking place in Japan, and I've heard from some people that the medical system does have a pretty bad case of sometimes just incompetent nurses, and that the suffering that the father is going through isn't really unheard of in the country. Now, I'm not sure how true this is given I know nothing about Japan, let alone its healthcare system, but I'll put it here because it's a potentially important detail. But just seeing a child suffering is enough to make you feel uneasy. Nick Bates. This one is possibly more disturbing than Chris Chan. While with Chris Chan, despite how tragic it is, you can argue there's some layer of comedy there, like Asper Chew or Liquid Chris, but Nick Bates is just depraved and sad. I don't usually like to comment on people's appearances when discussing why I find them scary, but I can't help but mention it here. This man was rotting away. He'd go months without showers. His teeth were rotting and he was generally unkempt. He also does this really gross soy face where it just makes him look really deranged. But that's not the disturbing part, not even close. Many people treated this dude as a Chris Chan for a while, and in many ways their stories are similar. So are the endings. Nick Bates had many predatory tendencies, and he truly hated being called out on this, despite basically having the evidence stacked against him. He had a history of saying pretty suspicious and outright incriminating things regarding kids, but this all culminated into him doing something truly horrible. I won't go into detail on what he did, but this monstrous creature never should have been around children. Good thing he's behind bars, but that won't reverse the scars he left on his little sister after he committed a truly vile act. Twitter Ring. So around 2020, something crazy happened on art Twitter. Around 3 big Twitter artists got outed for doing illegal things with minors, all within a very close time frame. Those 3 being John Bob, Tarface, and Get Good Nami, all having previously done collabs and been in contact with each other. Even more were involved, but it's a whole mess. This thing made people start to question, why is it that these big Twitter artists just went under the radar in the behavior for so long? It's a truly muddled situation that I really think people don't want to remember. How people so beloved can truly turn out to be depraved. But it is truly something to think about. It shows a much bigger problem. How prevalent predators are on the internet. And how people will use their influence for terrible things. It really makes you think, why? Monkey hate. This is a true anomaly. This is a weird community on YouTube that just really hates monkeys. Like, absolutely despises them. There are hundreds of compilations with millions of views of people hurting or torturing monkeys. Now, we don't know why this exists. Some chalk it up to the resemblance that monkeys have to humans, and this leads to some psychological effect where people want to see them hurt. Others see it as some weird form of racism, as some in the comments call them subhuman and believe them to be inferior. And a lot of the people who make and consume these videos have some, well, they have some questionable political alignments. More specifically, they really seem to like that Austrian painter from World War II. But most dubious of all is that these videos of small, vulnerable animals being controlled excite some people. And some people might like this content, getting their desires from these videos, wishing they could do it not to a monkey, but to a real human being. The Daily Capper. This one is absolutely vile. It's insane how evil a human being can be. And it's even worse how proud someone can be of their depravity, putting it out there for the world to see. This channel is a product of an online community filled with disgusting people. They'd find young girls online and trap them through blackmail, taking videos, and screenshots. This community would take advantage of young girls with internet access and exploit their innocence. This channel used an animated newscaster from another show to award other online predators for their actions. They'd be given news updates and awards for blackmailing. These people are in fact responsible for the death of a young girl named Amanda Todd, as she felt there was nowhere for her to truly escape these depraved human beings. Even more gross is these people treated it like it was some sort of game, getting in rivalries and bartering videos and pictures. It's truly sickening. But the most disturbing thing of all is the fact that this community never went away. It just resides in different forms. MD Pope, most disturbed person on planet Earth. By the title, I think you can understand how bad this one is. I don't want to go too much into this one. It's basically a mixtape of horrible things that no healthy being should watch. When I say horrible things, I truly mean horrible. Lively cartel videos have nothing on this mixtape. And lastly, the worst thing to ever be put on the internet, and probably the worst thing ever conceived by human hands, Daisy's destruction. This one is traumatizing. You don't need to see it to be unnerved. I can't go into detail. But Peter Scully is one of the most monstrous humans to ever walk this earth. And the fact that this is real and not an internet urban legend is horrifying. I will not focus on the content of this video because I think its existence is more disturbing than anything I could describe. This video was seen as a crazy urban legend for so long until it turned out to be real. It goes to show that sometimes even the worst things people can ever imagine sometimes turn out to be true. It changed the way many people thought about internet urban legend, because if something like this could have truly turned out to be real after years of it just being seen as an edgy fake story, what else could just be sitting around the internet just waiting to be discovered? What other outlandish urban legends could actually have some truth to them? It really makes you think. Wow, that got really heavy towards the end. We truly went on a journey, and this is easily the hardest video I've ever made. Internet horror is truly an anomaly. I've been wanting to make a video like this for years before I even knew how to edit videos. If you stayed this long, I hope you stay safe during the spooky season, and I hope no harm comes your way. Thank you for supporting the channel and this video. Despite the grim topics presented in the last part of this video, I really enjoyed making this. And I'm so glad I actually have an audience that watches my content. Even if it's literally 10 dudes who watch consistently, that's still 10 people who watch my stuff regularly. So to all of you who stayed this long, thank you. Good day, good night, good morning, whatever time it is for you, wherever you are. Peace out. See you on the flip side.